Wow. I'm here today at the border on a very important mission. I live in the Fraser Valley, which is like an hour east of the city of Vancouver here in British Columbia, Canada, and I actually live really close to the border. So when I'm ordering things from the internet, especially if they're coming from the States, I always get it shipped to like a shipping pickup place just over the border. This helps the shipping to be faster, cheaper, and all around just less of a hassle. These trips across the border have become a pretty habitual thing for me. I feel like I'm making this trip like every other month, just heading across to pick things up. The first trip that I really remember doing this was when I ordered my first monopod. So that must have been like 2011, 2012. But I'm really excited for today because look what just came in. How amazing is this? It's like so crazy to have it in physical form and for it not to just be like an idea and a wish anymore, but actually like have one on me. This is just phenomenal. This is something that you'd like to get and you want to help make our series happen, you can actually get one of these t-shirts by supporting some rad films getting made. So this is the original Life's Better When You Make Stuff print that my buddy Jordan made and took this massive print. This is so cool. Okay, so we're actually gonna start off this episode with a Q&A because I've been getting some fantastic questions about the Slacklining web series that we're working on, and I've got some really important updates about our crowdfunding campaign. For starters, we reached our $3,000 goal. That is just absolutely phenomenal. I've been blown away by people's generosity. It's the coolest thing, and I'm so grateful. But I do have to say our goal is actually bigger than the goal on Kickstarter. So let me explain real quick before you think I'm just getting greedy and want more money. So the way that Kickstarter works is you set a goal, and if you don't reach that goal, you actually don't get anything. So when I created the campaign, I admittedly set the bar pretty low because we're on a tight deadline here, and I did not want to risk having to do another crowdfunding campaign if the previous one didn't work. In hindsight, I might have set the goal obviously a bit higher because we funded it in the first 2 days, but I tried to explain in the video that the post-production for each episode of the series is going to be between $3,000 and $5,000. So essentially what we've raised so far is enough to cover the post-production of one episode, and we've got 4 more episodes to go. So if you do the math, the more that I'm able to crowdfund, it's a huge weight off my shoulders because the way that this funding is actually going to work is for the actual production of the series, I'm going to be paying that out of pocket, and I'm trying to get sponsors involved to write checks. I haven't gotten one to write a check yet, but we're close. And I'm trying to balance where things are coming from because at this point, it's just too challenging to ask like you to front the bill for everything or myself to pay for everything or the sponsors to pay for everything. So I'm trying to do like this threefold approach because I really care about these and I'm gonna make them happen no matter what. And I'd like to alleviate some of the costs that go along with doing these things with excellence. So that's why I'm asking that we keep pushing forward with the crowdfunding campaign. We can try cover as much of the post-production budget as possible. That would be absolutely huge. If you're curious about numbers, you can actually ask questions on Kickstarter or in the comments, and I'd be really happy to answer those because I want to be totally transparent with this process. So let's dive into some of the questions that people have been asking me on Snapchat.
Levi, I have a question for you. Do you plan on, once you finish the series, releasing them all at once or individually once per week?
Hey, Levi.
Awesome. Thanks for the question, Corey. Really appreciate it. We're going to release the episodes every other week, and in between that, there's going to be behind the scenes episodes going out. So every week, there's going to be a piece of content about the series. One week, it's going to be an episode. The next week, behind the scenes. And yeah, that's how it's going to go.
Hey Levi, what kind of impact are you hoping to make with the Slackline series, and can you give any advice to any young filmmakers doing the same thing?
I think on the simplest level, the impact that I want these stories to have is to motivate people to go out and pursue human-powered adventures together. One thing that I've learned about the Slacklining community is that they have incredible power and strength when they move as a community. And I want these stories to inspire other people to pursue their own powered adventures by using their own strength and challenging themselves. That's kind of what I want to come out of this. And my advice to filmmakers that want to make an impact as well is actually finding a way to just really clarify and define what you want the impact to be. Because for me, when I started, I really wanted this like global, intangible impact, but that really didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I've gotten a lot more fuel and drive behind being able to tackle smaller goals in the sense of, I just want to inspire someone to like get outside and do something. That goal is a lot more tangible and easier to realize than like, I want to change the entire world. Because I think if we work on those smaller parts, it does work into the bigger picture of some of these massive goals we have. And they're kind of one and the same. So I recommend when you're starting out, have smaller goals of the impact that you want it to have. The first documentary that I tried to make, and I actually tried to make a crowdfunding video for it, was a documentary on the stories behind homeless people. And that project absolutely flopped. It flopped because I did not have the relationships built up with the people I needed to tell the stories. And I was inexperienced and I was young and I just really wanted to have this impact. And so yeah, if I could go back and give myself any piece of advice, it would be to have a more tangible goal around the impact that I want it to have. I'm still all for dreaming big and wanting to do amazing things with your life. I think that's an incredible thing.
Levi, how's it going? Love your work, brother. And I was wondering, what are some tips on getting better at storytelling?
The first piece of advice that I think of is let the story move you before you try to move the story. That's something that's been huge for me in documentary work, where I really do try to go, what's actually happening here, before I try to do my interpretation of it or share my interpretation of it. I think that's a really critical point to telling great stories.
So in a previous video, you were talking about Untethered and the results of it, and how your business didn't really end up getting any clients or work from making that. So I was wondering what types of things you were thinking about doing this time around to have like a more positive impact on your business and help it grow.
That's a great question. And in this world of filmmaking, the reality of business and wanting to tell great stories with authenticity is kind of synonymous, because just being able to have the resources to go tell these stories means you need to be running a business that's successful. And yeah, Untethered did not have the business results that I was hoping for, in the sense that, some of the people's stories that I've followed previous, if when they got a staff pick, it seemed like everything changed for them at that time. And not that I was looking for like a golden ticket or like an easy route, but I really was hoping that because Untethered received some of the online notoriety it did, that it would generate at least some leads. And it really didn't at all. And that's what he's referencing there. And what I learned from that was, every path to making this work is gonna be different. And no route is gonna be the same. Even though there's been hundreds of filmmakers that have figured out a way to make this career work, the route that I end up taking is gonna have to be for me. And so where this series fits in with trying to maximize the business impact that I can get out of it, because I really do want to be enabled to tell more stories like this. I'm hoping, because I'm focusing on this niche, that it really does help accelerate the process of getting my name into the right places for people that are actually hiring storytellers like myself. And I've watched a lot of other creative types really focus in on a certain genre or style or subject matter. And that seems to be the fastest way to become, available and ready to do other types of projects. So that's actually one of the reasons why I'm doing a series. I'm hoping that shorter episodic content regularly released will help to build up this identity for Leftcoast behind this highlighting content. And I really feel that will help work well to leverage into the future, because I'm trying to think of this future where I can make series-based content. So doing a proof of concept is really the best way to do that. So that way, when I try to pitch, who knows, like a season 2 or like the next thing, there's actually more to stand on. So having Untethered's amazing, because I'm really proud of it and I like put my soul into that thing and a ton of money. And so it's so helpful to have that piece in my portfolio to be able to point to. I know I need to be a lot more prolific in my storytelling output if I want to have a larger impact on the business side of things. But I know I need to have a more prolific output on these higher quality stories if I want other brands or companies out there to be noticing and wanting to hire me to tell stories for them. But man, there's so much business strategizing stuff that's kind of all in play, and it's kind of all just like one big thing that's kind of trying to work together. So we'll see how things go.
So yeah, that closes off this Q&A. I'll do another Q&A if more questions pour in. But our next big goal is reaching $6,000 on the Kickstarter campaign. And if we reach that goal, I'm actually going to release a full-length waterfall rope swing video from the day that we rigged that massive rope swing that Spencer went off in a raft. I actually have a lot more footage from that day. So if we reach $6,000, I'm going to release a longer version of that video kind of as a special bonus. But yeah, I really do appreciate your support, and we are trying to reach some bigger goals here. So thanks so much for coming along for the journey, and let me know if you have any more questions. I'm really excited to just like spend some time with people. I'm a huge extrovert, and so much time has been spent just like sitting in that chair, just sitting behind a computer, and I'm so excited for some people time. Here at my buddy's house here. This is actually the house of some triplets that I went to high school with. So there's a lot of my high school friends here, and we're gonna try set up a slackline over their pool. We'll see how this goes.
If you did like, how low is the hitch?
Well, no, that'll be okay.
Yeah. Where's the water level versus the edge?
Mark, on a count of 10, you just drive the quad away as fast as you can.